Good morning, Richard. I got your email through the night. Yeah. So you have a new oil pump. It's inside here. The old one had a lot of metal go through it, so we were concerned about the wear on it. The end plate is actually taken off of this right now. We used it on the new oil pump. But yeah, you have you can see a lot of scoring on the edge of the gears. So we did that because of, we just didn't know whether or not it would operate. So we didn't want to put it back together and then figure out that we had a problem. So you have a new oil pump. It's down inside here. Your water pump has a slight leak to it, but it's not really a leak in the water pump. What it is, I'm showing you, kind of teaching you some stuff here. You have a grease cup here that had been tightened all the way down, but there's no grease in it. The water was coming through this grease cup connection. And so we will fill this. You can see the water in there. Oh, this didn't have any grease in it at all. This is supposed to have a waterproof grease in it. So we're gonna fill that. And what it is like every day when you use the thing, you tighten the grease cup a turn and it puts grease down in the bushings for the shaft right here. So so there's no grease in the grease cup. We'll put grease in that, of course, for you, waterproof grease in that for you, and that'll stop that slight leak right there. It's for lubrication on the pump. So that's the water pump. Let's see, you were asking. Oh, yeah, fuel pump. Fuel pump is operable. It's operating. Here's your fuel pump. And this is a little manual primer. This is doing the same thing. There's actually a lever inside the engine that runs on a cam, and it'll move the diaphragm. And we're pumping some gas in to the carburetor right now. And the carburetor, I was going to repeat what happened yesterday so I could show you, because when I would push this bail right here, we had gasoline coming out this nozzle, shooting out this nozzle. I mean, shooting several inches out of this nozzle, shooting, that kind of a distance right there. I can't tell if we've got some gasoline down on the short of the carburetor. So apparently the carburetor is right here where the float valve is. The float valve is still not completely sealing off. I'd like to reconstruct that what happened yesterday, because what I did is I pulled on this bail and I shot gasoline out here, and that's a no-no. And that would be due to a failure in the carburetor, but apparently that failure is intermittent because it hasn't happened yet this morning. So we will get the wires changed, and then we'll review again, and we'll send this off if it dies on us again. But I really hesitate to send this to you after I saw what happened yesterday I hate to send it to you without doing a rebuild. So the only thing we haven't verified the operation of is your generator. The generator won't kick in till about 1,000 RPM. And we've run at that, but we've not been watching the amp gauge at that point in time. So, but we haven't seen the amp gauge move yet. So we're a little concerned about that, but it actually could be something in our test stand, a loose wire or something. So we haven't verified. Also, it's real common for the brushes, which are back here, to stick. And the cure for that is actually hit it with a dead blow hammer and jar the brushes loose so they can do their job. So so we'll verify that as well. Morning. This part is your oil cooler. So water comes out of the lake, goes through your pump, through the oil cooler, into the exhaust manifold. There's passages from the exhaust manifold into the block, and then out of the block back into another chamber of the exhaust manifold. There's several chambers in it, and then when it's made this last, and it'll come down and come back again. When it's made its last pass, it goes through the it goes in here and preheats your air and fuel mixture going to your carburetor, or coming from your carburetor into your engine, I should say, and then it discharges into the elbow, and the water goes in with your exhaust gases and exits the boat. So anyway, if nothing else, hopefully you're getting a good education at the same time about your engine and the care and feeding of it. And of course, this is your starter right here. Scared me. The alligator clip came off and scared me. But anyway, this is your starter right here. So this is the start solenoid. So we send a signal on this wire to the start solenoid from the key switch. So when we hit the key switch, electricity is going to your solenoid, and there's a big switch in here that's magnetically controlled, and that puts the power from this big cable to your starter, because the amount of current this pulls would quickly burn up a start switch. Okay. And so anyway, we're going to be changing the wires today. We'll run it again today. If the carburetor doesn't screw up again, there's always the option that we don't rebuild it, but I just don't suggest that. All right, thank you, sir. Talk to you soon.